Thank you for the nice introduction. I will share the screen. So today we will discuss regulatory compliance and certification, and I am, as was mentioned, Edyta Sulak, and I represent Łukasiewicz Research Network, Lodz Institute of Technology. We are research centers, and we carried out work with a wide range of areas, including textile and leather technologies, material engineering, and also environmental engineering. These four R&D centers closely collaborates with accredited testing laboratories, which form a set of complementary analytical laboratories with a very wide spectrum of research methods used, giving the possibility of a full assessment of physical, mechanical, chemical, and other also microbiological properties. And the tests are carried out.
Edyta, sorry to interrupt you. Do you think that you can put your presentation in
presentation
mode?
Sorry.
Perfect.
In accordance with the ISO European and also national Polish standards, and also we developed some own methods to offer a range of tests enables a comprehensive assessment of raw materials and textiles in terms of performance, safety, but also compliance with the EU directives. But within the structure, we have also separated organizational unit, Textile certification department, and it holds accreditation from the Polish Center of Accreditation in the scope of conformity assessment of personal protective equipment and also product conformity certification with normative documents. And Łukasiewicz, we as the only one in Poland, offers the certification process and perform tests for the standard 100 by Ecotex and also STEP by Ecotex. And within the scope of certification, there are also certification marks voluntary on the national market, safe for infants, safe for children. As you can see, these pictures on the slide, human-friendly certified material for your furniture, UV stop. And today, during the webinar, I will walk you through some of the ongoing policies at the European level that impact textile sector, such as previous mentioned Ecodesign for Sustainable Products Regulation and also revised waste framework directive. I hope it will help to clarify where European policy is headed and what it means for the research, for organization, for companies, the whole textile sector. And also there will be comprehensive insights into selected sustainability standards and certification schemes. When discussing regulatory compliance and certification, we should distinguish between the market segment on the business and private side, and also the procurement purchasing dimension on the administrative and public side. So private market have requirements of B2B customers and retail chains, voluntary standards, social audits, environmental footprint requirements, etc. Certifications such as Ecotex, GOTS, and public market regarding also green public procurement has requirements more specific, need compliance with EU regulations. So why this regulatory compliance is important? So regulatory compliance provides the legal foundation that enables textile companies to operate but also manage risks and meet mandatory requirements on chemicals, product safety, and sustainability. It is also essential for securing market access, as compliance with international standards and regulations allows companies to avoid trade barriers and maintain customer trust. Adherence to chemical, environmental, and labor regulation reduces risk related to penalties, supply chain disruption, and also reputational damage. At the same time, regulatory frameworks promote more sustainable production practices and drive continuous improvement and innovation across the textile value chain. If we look at the regulatory landscape, we have international, also European and national levels. So at the international levels, we have this International Organization for Standardization, ISO, and we have global standards provided, which provides baselines, frameworks for quality, safety, and environmental management. And also, often they are harmonized with regulation on the European level, as you will see later. And at the European level, we have also regulation that are mandatory for textile companies. The example is REACH regulation, which gives us safety in the terms of chemicals present on the market, in the products and in processes. But also we have some voluntary labels developed at the European level, such as EU Ecolabel. If we have at the European level directive, it is translated into national law. So we have also these national regional rules, but also at the national level, we have also standardization bodies. So we can also have these standards at our national levels, implementing this from the European or international level, but also reflecting our local socio-economic priorities. And also it is we can see this within this develop in each country regional smart specialization. Regarding key European environmental regulations about the REACH, I will tell you more later. So it gives us a safety on this using of chemical substances on the market. But regarding revised waste framework directive, it includes also extended producer responsibility schemes and the end of waste criteria for textiles. So giving a broader overview on the waste legislation revision that recently took place, we have now EU regulation entered into force, creating mandatory national EPR schemes. And just a bit explanation, if you are not familiar with EPR, extended producer responsibility aims to ensure that producers contribute to the cost of the waste management and bear financial responsibilities or financial and organizational responsibility for the end of life phase of the products that they place on the EU market. And if properly implemented, EPR could reduce the environmental impact of textiles. It could promote circular business models such as reuse, recycling, and generally contribute to more efficient end-of-life management. So now we have EPR for textiles at European level, and the products that are covered in these EPR schemes at this stage are apparel accessories, home textiles, and footwear. And there is possibility for European countries also to introduce EPR schemes for matrices. These companies are concerned with extended EPR, are micro, small, and medium-sized companies, and also large companies. And there are certain simplification and facilitation in the legislation itself to support micro companies in fulfilling their obligation under this legislation. The fees that producers will pay for the products that they place on the market will be based on the weight of the products, where appropriate also on the quantity of these products, and there will also be possibility to modulate the fees based on business practices, and there is the obligation to harmonize how eco-modulation works at the European level based on this regulation for eco-design. There will be provided the opportunities for producers that produce more sustainable products to pay less tax on their products, to incentivize equal and circular practices from producers. The funds collected will go to waste management processes, but also to research and development to improve eco-design and to scale up sorting and textile-to-textile recycling. Each member state will have their own registry to where companies will to register, but we should have a uniform format for registration at the European level in the coming months. Regarding eco-design for sustainable products regulation, which entered into force in July 2024, from the industry perspective, it will change the way the products are made. It impacts all products on the European market. It goes way beyond textiles and includes components and intermediate products, and there are some limited exceptions when it comes to food, feed products, medicines, plants, animals, and products thereof, and some specific vehicles. Eco-design regulation also impacts all companies that place products in the scope on the European market, regardless of whether these companies are based, be it within the European member states or in third countries. Some of the most important elements from a textile perspective are that we will have minimum performance requirements for textiles, for example, when it comes to physical durability, aspects, or for inclusion of recycled contents. It will also have information requirements that will have to be passed through the so-called digital product passport along the value chain, but it is deeply discussed during one of the previous webinars. We also have special provision regarding unsold consumer products when it comes to the reporting of such discarded products, which apply to all kinds of products group, not only to textile, but also there is a ban on destruction of unsold consumer products, which specifically concerns apparel, accessories, and footwear, which have entered into force this year. And we have the European Commission working plan, and it outlines which product groups will be legislated in the next 5 years. So regarding textiles, we have apparel. The clothing will have its own legislation in 2027, we hope, and other segments like home textiles and technical textile will not be regulated within this time period. So for companies, the impacts will come from the moment the legislation is ready, because there might be a need for companies to, for certain time, to adjust their processes, to arrange the data traceability along the value chains and its availability. So the information requirements set in the Ecodesign regulation will work in synergy with the textile labeling regulation, which is currently under review. The recent EU Commission initiative is also the Circular Economy Act, and the main objectives of this future Circular Economy Act will be to accelerate the transition to circular economy, to boost the supply and demand for secondary raw materials, to reinforce the single market for waste and recycled materials, promote reuse, repair, and recycling of products, but it is still at an early stage. So, as I mentioned, I will go deeply to the REACH regulation. It is a regulation of the European Union adopted to improve the protection of human health and the environment from the risks that can be posed by chemicals, while enhancing the competitiveness of the European chemicals industry. It also promotes alternative methods for the hazard assessment of substances in order to reduce the number of tests on animals. In principle, REACH applies to all chemical substances, not only those used in industrial processes, but also in our day-to-day lives, for example, in cleaning products, paints, as well as articles such as clothes, furniture, electrical appliances, etc. So therefore, the regulation has an impact on most companies across the European Union. REACH places the burden of proof on companies. To comply with the regulation, companies must identify and manage the risk linked to the substances they manufacture and the market in the European Union. They have to demonstrate to ECHA, this is in charge of this regulation organization, how the substance can be safely used, and they must communicate the risk management measures to the users. The REACH regulation requires registrants to prepare a registration dossier. This is composed of a technical dossier and, where relevant, also a chemical safety report, the standard information requirements. So these that are required as minimum to meet the registration obligation of REACH are defined in the annexes to the regulation, and it depends of the amount of the substances used. So to summarize, step for compliance, it is to identify substances, determine if substances are in your products, then evaluate threshold, check if they meet the 1 ton per year limit. Then, if yes, register and test. You should submit data to ECHA or conduct required testing, and also in the next steps update the documentation. So we have also these international standards and also sustainability standards different. Global standards provide specification requirements and recommendation to ensure products, services, and systems that are safe, reliable, and of good quality. And these sustainability standards are voluntary, but also give us, ensure us that the products are not harmful for environment. And also some of them give us tools to measure how something is circular or sustainable. And these ISO standards are concern different aspects of management. Also, we have these ISO standards for environmental management system, energy management system quality, but also for specifically for textiles and textile products, regarding microplastics, regarding smart textiles, etc. So if we look at the market, we have market segmentation, because we have sometimes we should comply and produce clothes or textile materials for two streams: for consumer market, when the standards certification schemes are voluntary, but also give trust, build trust, give some lower the risk. But also we have this obligation regarding public procurement, especially defense and safety, and we also observe this public procurement shift when we incorporate this safety, life safety, social responsibilities in the system. And public authorities are using their purchasing power to enforce rubber standards, environmental safety, and occupational health, particularly for workwear and protective equipment. So we must comply with the consumer requirements of the consumer market, but also this public market. And this consumer market is consumer-facing. Compliance in the textile sector is formally voluntary, but in practice it is strongly driven by market expectations, as brands and retailers treat chemical safety, traceability, and sustainability assurance as essential requirements rather than optional features. And growing ESG expectation influence material selection, chemical management, and supply chains transparency also. So for this consumer market at the European level, we have this EU Ecolabel, which serves as a bridge between responsible production and informed consumer choice, build trust, and highlighting genuine actions taken towards sustainable development. And also this global international recognized standard for environmental management system. It provides a framework for organization to design and implement and EMS and continually improve the environmental performance, but by adhering to these standards, organization can ensure they are taking proactive measures to minimize their environmental footprint, comply with relevant requirements, and achieve their environmental objectives. And we also have a tool to measure and compare and score sustainability. This is Higg Index, and it is tools to measure social and environmental performance across the value chain, delivering a holistic overview that empowers businesses to make meaningful improvements that protect the well-being of factory workers, local communities, and the environment. So it helps companies to identify hotspots, improve sustainability performance. We have 3 modules for brand, retail tools, product tools, and facility tools. And we have also Ecotex standard 100, is world's leading safety label for textile products. And products are awarded this label are free from harmful substances in concentration that negatively affect human health, including pesticides, chlorophenols, formaldehyde, or allergenic dyes, azo dyes, and extractable heavy metals. And within this standard, we have 4 products classes for babies: product with or without direct skin contact, and decoration items. Regarding Ecotex made in green standard, it is a traceable product label for all kinds of textiles, such as garments, home textiles, and leather products also, including non-textile leather components. The Made in Green label verifies that an article has been tested for harmful substances, And it also guarantees that the textile or leather product has been manufactured using sustainable processes under environmentally friendly and socially responsible working conditions. We have also this global organic textile standard. It is worldwide leading textile processing standard for organic fibers, including environmental, human rights, and social criteria. So it is holistic approach, backed up by independent third-party certification of the entire textile supply chain. Regarding eco-label, it is for different products, but regarding textiles, covers various textile product groups such as textile clothing, accessories, interior textiles, fibers, yarns, fabric, and knitted panels. The EU eco-label for textile products guarantees a more sustainable fiber production, a less polluting production process, strict restriction on the use of hazardous substances, and a long-lasting final products. We have defined criteria for different products and different levels. So for textile fibers, component and accessories, chemical and process criteria, fitness for use criteria, and also corporate social responsibility criteria. So summarize, it is very important for consumer to have products that are safety in chemical terms and environmental terms, but also to have this transparency through the whole value chains. So we have also this second segment, market segment, public procurement, this regulatory. So we have within this market, we have mandatory compliance, all technical, chemical, and performance requirements are compulsory. So no deviations is permitted. And also we should ensure audit and liability. And regarding some group of products on the textile market, for example, personal protective equipment, we have regulation at the European level and harmonized standards that ensure to meet these requirements. So we have general requirements at the for the clothing, but for the gloves and the safety footwear, but they are only intended to be used in combination with other standards containing requirements for specific protective performance and not on a stand-alone basis. So, for example, we have a protection against rain, this standard, European standard, and within this standard, we have two categories, water resistant and 3 classes, and breathability 3 classes to ensure comfort and dryness for workwears, or for example, standard for high visibility clothing. And regarding fire and heat protection, we have also some standards, so performance requirements for protective clothing for firefighting activities, clothing to protect against heat and flame, minimum performance requirements, and also protection against flame, limited flame spread materials, material assemblies, and clothing. And it is also important to meet requirements of such standards in the defense and industrial protection. So we, for example, in the industrial protection, we have this an ISO standard for protective clothing for use in welding and allied processes with minimum safety requirements and test methods for protective clothing, including hoods, aprons, sleeves, etc. And the procurement of dedicated for military and police purposes frequently incorporate specific also national standards that go beyond general commercial requirements and focuses on specialized high performance and often domestically produced articles. And many contracting authorities require this, for example, environmental management systems. It demonstrates structured control of environmental impacts and continuous improvement. But also these voluntary standards such as Ecotex is used as a proof of chemical safety and compliance with restricted substances list in procurement specification. Within this landscape, it is an important role for R&D organization, but also for authorities. R&D organization provides innovation, new materials, new substances that can meet requirements that are posed for the companies, but also can test such products, pre-validate, ensure that products meet chemical safety and performance thresholds before they enter certification, and also can give its input to the translation of regulatory trends into product design choices, enabling early compliance and reducing the risk of redesign delays or certification failure. And authorities ensure market discipline, so provide enforcement framework, define what is compulsory, standard audit compliance, ensure traceability, etc. So to summarize, so we have two markets, one consumer, but on this market, company can build trust for consumer, have access to some markets, and also lower their operational risk. And we have also this public sector which demands proof, so accredited testing, certification, continuous quality assurance. And this standards regulatory compliance it is not only basic awareness. It is to build strategy. It is at strategic level. It is at the level of making a decision. So thank you for your attention.
So thank you very much, Edita. I can't see any questions in the chat or in the Q&A, but I have some questions here. If you are a company, maybe a startup or so, and you are not, and you have not looked into upcoming regulations and which are relevant for textiles, where to start? What is your recommendation there?
I think because where in the countries where is a strong textile industry, there are also research organizations. So I think to contact with research organization, because they sometimes they took part in some legislation works, in some consultation, because there is this legislation process, especially in climate policy, it is evidence-based. So first the Commission has some reports, some evidence that, for example, sometimes is something is harmful or not. The same regarding REACH regulation. So research organizations are involved in these processes. So also I recommend you to maybe be part of some association, because also you have access. For example, at the European level, we have Euratex. They very closely collaborate with European Commission on this regulatory market and also give feedback. So if you are a part of association in textile of association for textile company or Euratex or other, or for example we have ETP textiles platform, so you can have more advanced companies, more advanced organization in this regulation field, so they can provide you some information and also try to because there are also some projects, so find projects that is on the regulatory part for the textile industry, and there you are provided with the ongoing policies and changes and where is European Commission headed. And also this research organization, because also often they tested also this material, so they advise you what kind of tests you should doing to have, for example, compliance with this standard or with this.
Yeah, very, very good advice, and that also is something you should consider if you want to be a part of or involved in developing the future regulations and so. That is to organize yourself in those organizations and so, I think. Good. My second question is actually about another initiative, Textile Exchange. And do you see there, they are started by brands and so like H&M and IKEA and so are a part of them and they are an American organization, and they have some standards or certificates, I will say, certifications. What do you think about those, like Better Cotton and so? Do you have any opinion? Difficult question.
So I think it good to have such kind of organization, yes. So to help companies meet requirements that European regulator puts on the market. So this work will also ensure that our environment, and we will be more we will grow in more safety and more environmentally friendly environment. So it will ensure that the next generation will also have space to live.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thank you very much. I have no further questions that I can see in the Q&A or in the chat. So and it's time to finish this webinar. So I would like to thank you very much, Edita, for a very interesting and it's so much into those regulations, so it's really heavy stuff, I will say. So thank you very much, and also a big thank you to the audience today. Thank you for listening. And we see each other the 28th of April when we are talking about system demonstrator. Thank you very much for today. Bye-bye.